The shuttle door opened with a soft hiss. Unipark looked out at the massive space station floating in the darkness of space. Station Orbital 7, the Galactic Institute of Higher Learning. She had traveled 300 light years to get here. She was the first human to ever attend this school. Her hovering wheelchair moved forward smoothly. It floated above the ground using technology that Earth's best scientists had built for her. The chair made no sound as it carried her through the arrival hall. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the hall. Some had 4 arms. Some had scales. Some glowed with strange lights under their skin. All of them stopped and stared at Yuna as she passed. She was used to people staring. On Earth, they stared because of her wheelchair. Here, they stared because she was human, and because of her wheelchair. Double the staring, she thought with a small smile. A tall alien with blue skin and long fingers walked up to her. His name tag said he was a student guide. "You are the human," he said. It was not a question. "Yes," Yuna replied. "Unipark, I am here for the exchange program." The blue alien looked at her chair. Then he looked at her legs. They did not move. They had not moved since she was 12 years old. A car accident had taken away her ability to walk, but it had not taken away anything else. "This way," the guide said. He did not offer to help her. That was fine. She did not need help. The station was huge. The hallways were wide enough for creatures much bigger than humans. The ceilings were high. Everything was clean and shiny and made of materials Yuna did not recognize. She had studied alien technology for years, but seeing it in person was different. Other students whispered as she passed. She heard bits of their conversations. Is that really a human? So small. So fragile. Why would they send one that is broken? Yuna kept her face calm. She had heard worse things back on Earth. Words could not hurt her anymore. The guide stopped in front of a door. "Your room," he said. "Your roommate is inside. Classes begin tomorrow." Then he walked away without another word. Yuna pressed the panel beside the door. It slid open. The room was small but comfortable. 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 storage units. One side of the room was already decorated with colorful fabrics and strange little plants and glass containers. A small alien sat on one of the beds. She had soft fur, large eyes, and pointed ears. She looked like a cat that had learned to stand on 2 legs. When she saw Yuna, her ears went flat against her head. "Oh," the alien said. "You are here." "Hello," Yuna said. "I am Yuna. I am your new roommate." The alien stared at her for a long moment. Then her ears slowly came back up. "I am Miki," she said. "I chose this name because I like Earth names. I study Earth cultures. That is why they put you with me. It is nice to meet you, Miki." Miki looked at Yuna's chair. "Does it hurt?" she asked. "Your legs. I read that humans feel pain when their bodies are damaged." Yuna shook her head. "No, I cannot feel them at all. The nerves do not work anymore." "I am sorry," Miki said. "That sounds difficult." "I have had many years to get used to it," Yuna said. She moved her chair to the empty side of the room. "What can you tell me about this place?" "About the teachers?" Miki's ears went flat again. This seemed to happen when she was worried. "Most teachers are fine," she said. "But there is one you should know about. Professor Vreth. He teaches advanced combat theory." "I am signed up for his class," Yuna said. I made a small noise of distress. "That is bad. Professor Vreth is Kelvani." "Do you know the Kelvani?" "I know some things. They are warriors. Very strong. Very proud." "Yes, and Professor Vreth is the worst of them. He believes only strong species deserve respect. He thinks weak species should serve the strong ones. He thinks humans are Miki paused. He does not like humans. I see, Yuna said. He will try to make you quit. He does this to students he does not like. He humiliates them in front of the class until they leave. You should transfer to a different class. Yuna was quiet for a moment. Through the window of their room, she could see stars stretching out forever. She had come so far. She had worked so hard to get here. And not just for herself. Back on Earth, a woman named Commander Jisoo Wang had given her this mission. Go to the alien school. Learn everything. Find out if the aliens are a threat to Earth. Yuna was not just a student. She was a spy. The first human spy in alien space. She could not run away from one difficult professor. I did not come across 300 light years to run from a bully, Yuna said. Mickey's eyes went wide. You do not understand. Professor Vreth is not just a teacher. He was a warrior before. He has killed enemies in real combat. He has never lost a fight. Never. In 300 years. 300 years? Kelvani live a long time. And he has been fighting for most of it. Yuna smiled. It was a calm smile. A patient smile. Thank you for the warning, Miki. I will be careful. But as she began to unpack her things, she was not thinking about being careful. She was thinking about a professor who had never lost a fight. Everyone loses eventually, she thought. Everyone died, she just had to wait for the right moment. The classroom was shaped like a half circle. The seats rose up from the floor in rows, so every student could see the center stage. 300 students sat in those seats. Most of them were large. Most of them were strong. And all of them were watching Yuna as she entered the room. She guided her chair to the back row. It was the only place with enough space for her. She took out her tablet and waited. Professor Vreth stood in the center of the stage. He was tall, almost 3 meters. He had 4 arms, each one thick with muscle. His skin was pale gray, and it glowed with soft lights that moved under the surface. Bioluminescence, Yuna remembered from her studies. The lights showed his mood. Right now, the lights were calm, blue and green. Today, Professor Vreth said, we continue our study of combat across species. We will examine what makes some species natural warriors. He paused. His 4 eyes looked up at the back of the room. And what makes some species not? The lights under his skin flickered yellow. Amusement. Yuna kept her face still. She did not react. For 3 weeks, it had been like this. Small comments. Little insults. The professor never said her name. He just looked at her and made jokes about weak species. About species that could not even fix their own broken bodies. The other students laughed every time. Yuna wrote notes. She answered questions when asked. She did not complain. She was waiting. Her friend Doan came to watch sometimes. Doan Kim was another human on the station. He studied engineering. He was tall and thin and very smart, but he did not have Yuna's patience. This is wrong, Doan whispered to her now. He sat in the seat next to her chair. He cannot treat you like this. I should report him. Not yet, Yuna whispered back. Wait for what? Yuna did not answer. On the stage, Professor Vreth was still talking. Some species are built for war, the professor said. The Kelvani, for example. 4 arms, strong bones, fast healing. We were made to fight. He looked up at Yuna again. Other species are built for other things. Hiding, running, dying. More laughter from the students. Professor Vreth smiled. It was not a nice smile. In fact, I think today is a good day for a demonstration. A practical lesson. He raised one of his 4 arms and pointed at Yuna. Human, come down here. The room went quiet. Yuna closed her tablet. She moved her chair forward. It floated down the aisle between the seats, smooth and silent. Every eye watched her. She stopped at the edge of the stage. "Come closer," Professor Vreth said. "Do not be afraid." Una moved onto the stage. Her chair hummed softly. The professor walked around her in a slow circle. His forearms were clasped behind his back. The lights under his skin were bright yellow now. He was enjoying this. "Look at this creature," he said to the class. "Small, weak. It cannot even stand on its own legs. And yet, humans believe they belong among the stars." He laughed. It was not a kind laugh. "I propose a simple exercise. A test. The human will try to disable me. I will stand still and give it 30 seconds. If it cannot defeat me, which it cannot, then it will admit that humans do not belong in my classroom." A murmur went through the students. Some of them looked uncomfortable. Many of them looked excited. Duhan stood up in his seat. His face was red with anger. "This is harassment. This is against the rules. I am going to report this to the administration right now." "Sit down, Doan," Una said. Her voice was calm. "What?" "No, Una, you cannot do this. He will hurt you." He said he will stand still. "That does not matter. Look at him. He is 3 times your size." "Sit down, Doan." Her voice was still calm, but there was something in it now. Something hard. "Please." Dohan looked at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, he sat back down. His hands were shaking. Una looked at Professor Vreth. "I accept your challenge." The lights under the professor's skin flickered with surprise. Just for a moment. Then they turned yellow again. "You have spirit," he said. "Misplaced, foolish spirit. But spirit." He walked to the center of the stage and stood with his 4 arms spread wide. 30 seconds. Starting when I say, "Try your best, little human." I promise I will not move. Una positioned her chair 3 meters away from him. She took a slow breath. 300 students watched from above. Recording drones floated in the air, capturing everything. This would be broadcast across the entire station. Maybe beyond. Good, Una thought. Let them all see. "Are you ready?" Professor Vreth asked. Una nodded. The professor's bioluminescent skin pulsed once, twice. "Begin." But before we see what happened next, you need to know some things. Things that Professor Vreth did not know. Things that none of the aliens knew. Una Park was not just a student. She was born in a small city in Korea. Her parents were ordinary people. Her father worked in a factory. Her mother was a nurse. But Una was never ordinary. She started martial arts when she was 4 years old. By the time she was 6, she was winning competitions against children twice her age. By the time she was 10, she was training with adult fighters. Her teacher said she had a gift. She could see things other people could not see. She could find weakness in any opponent. Then came the accident. She was 12. Her family was driving home from one of her competitions. A truck crossed into their lane. Her parents died instantly. Una survived, but her spine was broken. The doctor said she would never walk again. Many people would have given up. Una did not. For the first year, she was angry. She screamed. She cried. She threw things at the walls of her hospital room. Then, one day, she stopped. "I am still alive," she told her grandmother, who had come to take care of her. "My legs do not work, but my arms work. My mind works. I am still here." She went back to training. It was not easy. Everything she knew had been built around standing, kicking, moving on 2 legs. She had to learn everything again. She had to create new techniques. Techniques for fighting while seated. She studied anatomy. Not just human anatomy. Every species she could find information about. She memorized pressure points, nerve clusters, weak spots. She learned that every creature, no matter how strong, had vulnerabilities. Her grandmother helped her. Her grandmother had been a nurse in the military long ago. She knew things about the human body that were not in regular books. Every body can be broken, her grandmother told her. But a strong mind cannot be broken. Remember this. Yuna remembered that by the time she was 16, she could defeat fighters who had full use of their legs. They would laugh when they saw her in her wheelchair. They would stop laughing very quickly. By the time she was 18, people stopped challenging her. She had become too good, too fast, too smart. That was when Commander Jizu Huang found her. Commander Huang worked for a secret part of the Korean government. This part dealt with things most people did not know about. Things like first contact with aliens. Things like the Galactic Federation that Earth had recently discovered. The aliens think we are weak, Commander Wang told Yuna. They think we are primitive. They do not see us as a threat. This is both dangerous and useful. Useful how? Yuna asked. If they do not see us as a threat, they will not watch us carefully. We can learn about them. We can prepare for the future. But we need people among them. People who can watch and listen and report back. Spies, Yuna said. Yes, spies. And I think you would be perfect. Yuna thought about it. She thought about the aliens out there in space, looking down at Earth. She thought about her parents, who had always told her to protect people who needed protecting. Why me? She asked. I am in a wheelchair. Commander Wang smiled. It was a knowing smile. That is exactly why. They will look at you and see weakness. They will underestimate you. They will not be careful around you. And that will be their mistake. For the next year, Yuna trained with Commander Wang's team. She learned about alien species. She learned their languages, their customs, their histories. She studied every piece of information Earth had gathered about the Galactic Federation. She learned that the Kelvani were proud warriors. She learned that they had a weakness, a nerve cluster at the base of their third arm, a leftover from millions of years of evolution. Very few people knew about it. It was classified information. Commander Huang's team had stolen that information from a Kelvani medical database. If you hit this spot with exactly 42 pounds of pressure, the team doctor explained, the Kelvani will experience complete paralysis for several minutes. It does not cause permanent damage, but it will disable even the strongest warrior. Yuna practiced the strike 1,000 times. Then, 1,000 more. Her wheelchair was also special. Earth's best engineers had built it for her. It looked like a normal medical hover chair, but it had micro-thrusters that could move faster than any alien would expect. It had armor hidden in its frame. It had sensors that could detect movement and life signs. It was a weapon disguised as a chair for a sick person. When she left for Station Orbital 7, Commander Wang gave her one last instruction. Do not reveal yourself unless absolutely necessary. Watch, learn, report. That is your mission. I understand, Yuna said. But now, standing on that stage in front of 300 aliens, she was about to break that instruction. Some lessons needed to be taught in public. Some things were more important than staying hidden. And Professor Vreth had made one mistake that Yuna could not forgive. He had not just insulted her. He had insulted all of humanity. Time to teach him what humans were really made of. Professor Vreth stood in the center of the stage with his 4 arms spread wide. His bioluminescent skin glowed with yellow light. He was amused. He was confident. He had never lost a fight in 300 years. This small, broken human was no threat to him. Begin, he said. Yuna did not move. 1 second passed. 2 seconds passed. The students in the seats above watched with wide eyes. Some of them whispered to each other. What was the human doing? What was the human doing? Was she frozen with fear? Professor Vreth smiled. If you want to give up now, I will understand. It would be the smart thing to do. Una still did not move. She was looking at him. Just looking. Her eyes moved across his body slowly. His first arm. His second arm. His third arm. His fourth arm. His legs. His neck. His chest. She was not frozen with fear. She was thinking, planning, seeing. Every creature has a weakness. That was what her grandmother had taught her. Everybody can be broken. The key is knowing where to strike. The Kelvani were strong. Their muscles were like steel cables. Their bones were 3 times denser than human bones. Their skin could stop a knife. If Una tried to fight Professor Vreth the normal way, she would lose. But she was not going to fight him the normal way. 3 seconds had passed. 27 seconds remained. Una moved. Her wheelchair shot forward. The microthrusters fired with a soft hum. The chair was fast. Much faster than anyone expected. One moment she was 3 meters away from the professor. The next moment she was right beside him. Professor Vreth's eyes widened. His bioluminescence flickered blue with surprise. He had said he would not move, and he kept his word. But his body tensed. His forearms twitched with the instinct to defend himself. He did not defend himself. He had promised. Una did not go for his face. She did not go for his chest. She did not go for any of the places a normal fighter would attack. She went from the base of his third arm. There was a spot there. A small area of soft skin between the arm and the body. Underneath that skin was a cluster of nerves. A weak point left over from millions of years of evolution. Once, long ago, the Kelvani had only 2 arms. The third and fourth arms came later. And where those arms connected to the body, there were still problems. Still weaknesses. Una struck with 2 fingers. Not her fist. Just 2 fingers, pressed together, moving in a straight line. She hit the spot with exactly 42 pounds of pressure. Not 41. Not 43. Exactly 40-2. Professor Vreth made a strange sound. It was not a scream. It was more like a gasp mixed with a grunt. His bioluminescence went dark. All the lights under his skin turned off at once. His forearms fell to his sides. His legs folded under him. He dropped to the floor like a puppet with cut strings. He was not unconscious. His eyes were still open. They moved, looking around wildly. He could see. He could think. But he could not move. Not one muscle. Complete paralysis. Yun looked at the display on their chair. A small timer was running. 3.7 seconds, she said out loud. Her voice was calm, steady. I had time to spare. The room was completely silent. 300 students stared at the stage with their mouths open. No one spoke. No one moved. The recording drones floated in the air, capturing everything. Then Dohan stood up. His face was not angry anymore. It was something else. Something like pride. He started to clap. One pair of hands clapping in a room of 300 people. It sounded very lonely at first. Then another student started clapping. Then another. Then 10 more. The applause spread through the room like a wave. Not everyone clapped. Some of the Kelvani students sat with their arms crossed, their faces angry. But many of the other species were clapping. Species who had also been looked down on. Species who had also been told they were weak. Una did not smile. She did not celebrate. She looked down at Professor Vreth lying on the floor. Can you hear me, Professor? She asked. His eyes moved to look at her. He could not speak, but she could see he was listening. The paralysis is temporary, she said. It will wear off in a few minutes. You will be fine. I did not cause any permanent damage. She leaned forward in her chair slightly. But I want you to remember this feeling. This feeling of being helpless. This feeling of being at someone else's mercy. This is how you made other people feel. People you thought were weak. People you thought did not matter. The medical team was already running toward the stage. Yuna backed her chair away to give them room. She looked up at the students, at the recording drones, at everyone who was watching. I am Yuna Park, she said. I am human. I am not broken. Then she guided her chair off the stage and up the aisle toward the exit. Students moved out of her way. Some of them looked at her with fear now. Some with respect. Some with both. Dohan ran to catch up with her. That was incredible, he said. How did you do that? How did you know where to hit him? Yuna smiled slightly. I did my homework. Behind them, the medical team was helping Professor Vreth. The paralysis was already starting to fade. He could move his fingers now. Soon he would be able to stand. But he would never forget what had just happened. Neither would anyone else. The medical bay was quiet. Professor Vreth sat on an examination bed while alien doctors checked his vital signs. The paralysis had worn off after 10 minutes. His body worked perfectly again. But something had changed. He had not spoken since they brought him here. The door opened. Yuna Park floated in on her chair. The doctors looked nervous when they saw her. One of them stepped between her and the professor. He needs rest, the doctor said. It is fine, Professor Vreth said. His voice was rough. Let her in. Leave us alone. The doctors exchanged looks. Then they left the room. The door closed behind them. Yuna and the professor looked at each other. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The only sound was the soft hum of medical equipment. Then Professor Vreth asked, the question that had been burning in his mind. How did you know? Yuna tilted her head. Know what? The weakness. The nerve cluster. That information is classified. Only Kelvani doctors know about it. It is not in any database that humans can access. His 4 eyes studied her face. How did you know? Yuna considered her answer. She could lie. She could make up some story. But she decided to tell part of the truth. Humans are very good at finding information that is supposed to be secret, she said. We have been doing it for thousands of years. Spying on each other. Stealing secrets. Fighting wars with knowledge instead of weapons. Spying, Vreth repeated. So you are not just a student? Yuna did not confirm or deny this. What I am does not matter right now. What matters is what you do next. Vreth was quiet for a moment. His bioluminescence was dim. Pale blue, almost gray. The color of deep thought. I have been a warrior for 300 years, he said slowly. I have fought enemies across 12 star systems. I have killed. I have almost died. I thought I understood strength. He looked at her legs, still and unmoving in her chair. I was wrong. Yuna waited. She could see something changing in him. You are small, Vreth continued. Your body does not work properly. By every measure my people use, you should be weak, helpless, easy to defeat. His lights flickered. But you defeated me in less than 4 seconds. 3.7, Yuna said. A strange sound came from Vreth's throat. It took Yuna a moment to realize he was laughing. Not the cruel laugh from before. A different kind of laugh. 3.7 seconds, he repeated. In 300 years, no one has defeated me. And a small human girl in a chair did it in 3.7 seconds. He shook his head. I owe you an apology. Yes, Yuna said. You do. I am sorry. The words seemed difficult for him to say. I judged you and your species based on appearances. based on assumptions. That was wrong of me. Yuna nodded. Apology accepted. But I want something else from you. What? Change your class. Change how you teach. No more judging students based on what they look like. No more deciding who deserves respect before you know what they can do. Breath was silent for a long moment. Then he said, I would like to offer you a position. As my teaching assistant, you could help me see things differently. Yuna smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. I will think about it. That night, Yuna sat in her small room. Miki was asleep in her bed, her soft breathing filling the quiet space. Through the window, stars shone in the endless darkness. Yuna opened a secure channel on her personal device. A face appeared on the screen. Commander Jizu Wang looked tired but alert. I received reports, Commander Wang said. You revealed yourself. Yes, Yuna admitted. Your cover is damaged. Everyone knows you are more than a student now. I know. Commander Wang was quiet for a moment. Then she asked, was it worth it? Yuna thought about the question. She thought about the students who had clapped for her. The species who had been looked down on, who had watched a human defeat an undefeated warrior. She thought about the recording that was now spreading across the station, across the galaxy. They needed to see it, Yuna said. They needed to know that humans are not weak, not helpless, not easy targets. If we want to survive in this galaxy, we cannot let them think we are prey. Commander Wang nodded slowly. And what will they think now? That we are dangerous. That we are smart. That underestimating us is a mistake. Some will fear us. Good, Yuna said. Fear keeps people careful. And careful is better than dead. The commander was silent for another moment. Then she did something Yuna did not expect. She smiled. Your parents would be proud of you, Commander Wang said. The mission continues. Watch, learn, report. But now they know you are watching. She paused. Make that work in our favor. Yes, Commander. The screen went dark. Yun looked out the window again. Somewhere out there, on 100 stations and 1,000 worlds, beings were watching a recording. They were watching a seated human girl disable an alien professor in 3.7 seconds. Some would laugh and say it was a trick. Some would be angry. Some would be afraid. But some, Yuna knew, would think differently. They would look at humans and wonder, what else can they do? What else are they hiding? What will they do next? That was the real victory. Not just winning a fight, changing how the galaxy saw her species. I stirred in her sleep. Her large eyes opened slightly. You are still awake? She murmured. Just thinking, Yuna said. You are terrifying, Miki said sleepily. You know that. Yuna laughed softly. I am just human. Miki made a small sound that might have been disagreement. Then she fell back asleep. Yuna stayed by the window for a long time, watching the stars. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy. They had announced themselves not with armies or weapons, but with a single moment. A single lesson. Do not underestimate us. The universe was vast and full of ancient, powerful species. Humanity was young, small, new, but they were learning, growing, and they were not going anywhere. This was just the beginning.